Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Torey and today I am working in my memory album doing a 6x8 spread with the Traci Reed collection Ex Libris. I am super excited to use this collection. It's like a mixture of galaxy and book themed, and naturally that's just one of my favorite things, or two of my favorite things, honestly. So I have just printed out one of the plain solid patterned papers, or maybe not patterned paper, but one of the plain solid papers. But before I printed it, I did also add a kind of galaxy overlay onto that. And then I also printed out this patterned paper that has stripes and some kind of book words on it. And I printed this particular paper out that I have just ripped the corner off on regular plain printer paper. I've really been obsessed with just using very thin plain printer paper in my scrapbooking and kind of creative journaling lately. So I figured I would give this a try for my actual 6x8 spread today. So I'm going to rip off two corners of this patterned paper and then just set the rest of that aside. And I'm going to place those two corners on either corner or either opposite corners of my page here. A lot of these background elements that I've got kind of set up are going to be covered up. In hindsight, I probably should have printed out my photo and my journaling card just a little bit smaller, but here we are. I've grabbed my Studio Calico inky black ink and I'm just going to rub that along all of the edges of both my photo and then the book review journaling card that I also printed out from this collection. I am documenting a book that I'm still currently reading, Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher, and I do not fill in this card at this point in time, like at the time that I'm filming this video. Honestly, I've still not finished the book yet, so the card is still blank, and I will be filling it in essentially once I've got that completed. There are so many stickers available with this collection, and I print and cut all of them out as just kind of die cut elements. And I was really kind of veering towards like the taupey gray colors and green and a little bit of blue. I will end up adding some pink, but I was really trying to stick with those colors for the elements that I would be using to embellish everything. Another thing with this one is I kind of think maybe I should have printed them out just a little bit smaller. I'm gonna consider that for my next spread, but there's a lot. So I was struggling with trying to figure out what elements I really wanted to include. So what I tend to do when I'm struggling with making decisions while I'm scrapbooking is just skipping and moving on to something that I do know that I want to proceed with. So instead of fussing around with my elements, I know that I want my photo to be mounted on some foam tape, and where I want my photo and my journaling card to be placed on this page. So I went ahead and I grabbed my foam tape and started getting everything adhered down, and figured that once I had that done, I could move along to getting some of the embellishments started. I pulled out two of the little tag pieces or label pieces. I pulled out two of the label pieces, and I know that I'm going to want to tuck those in between like the corners of both my photo and my journaling card. So those two pieces I will get laid down and adhered because I know that I want those to be where they are. I really did want to include some of the journaling strips though, and really struggled on my placement for these. I finally ended up deciding to place them hanging off of my journaling card. I was struggling the most with those journaling strips because how everything ended up laying out, it was just mostly blue, and I really liked the blue one, and I didn't want the blue one to be on top of blue background. So moving them over to be on top of the journaling card was super helpful for me to kind of be able to still use them, but also separate the blue from the blue. This collection is the Spotlight collection for the Traci Reed Oldies But Goodies sale that happens for 48 hours, where you can get the collection for 50% off. I will have the link to the whole collection page down in the description box below for you. And I believe that this sale automatically applies if you want to get your hands on this. It's a good one. I love it. So definitely head down to the description box below and check it out if you like the color scheme or theme of the collection. There will also be a blog post of everybody that created a spread or layout for this collection that I will have linked down below for you as well if you want to check it out and see some other inspirational kind of spreads or posts with this layout or this collection. All right, yeah. So I'm still messing around here with all of the elements. Honestly, I think that this was the part that I struggled with the most, getting this spread put together. There was just so many things in the sticker elements that I really, really liked that just didn't seem to be fitting on the page how I would have wanted them to. So I really struggled with placement of some of these things and getting everything down the way that I had wanted it to, or that I envisioned in my mind. And as I said earlier, I think a lot of it has to do with how big I printed everything out. Obviously, since it's just a 6x8 or technically 7x8.25 layout, it's not super big. All of the elements that I have and my photos, they're not really that big, but in comparison to my background page, everything is a little bit bigger than I think would have comfortably fit. So I'm keeping that in mind for my next spread because I obviously have a lot of these elements left over. So I'm going to keep that in mind for my next page whenever I am printing out my photos to see if I can just go a little bit smaller and potentially use up some more of these items a little bit easier than I am right now. Since I was so unsure for a lot of things, I did start cutting some of these elements up. So there was this very large book stack that I really liked, but it was just too big for my page here. So I just trimmed it a little bit more than halfway. And I'm going to add a little book stack to my top photo. And then I'll also stick that remaining piece of that book stack next to my little coffee mug over on the side. And then I'm also going to grab the circle die. I think it's a journaling circle. I'm going to grab that and kind of add some circles to both of those remaining elements as well. I didn't actually realize until I was adding that final cut circle that I have circles in all three of my little embellishment clusters, and that was not even planned. It just ended up being that way. So that was cool, I guess. I will add the date that I took this photo, which was at the time that I posted this video, like not even a week ago, but at the time I'm doing my voiceover, it was 2 days ago that I took this photo. And then I'm also going to grab this shelf and I'm going to place that on the bottom of my photo. It actually kind of lined up perfectly to just add a little bit of interest to the bottom of my photo. It's almost the exact same size as my photo. I really wanted to use these glasses, but I couldn't find a place where I thought that they fit the best. So since I'm struggling again with decisions, I'm going to go ahead and just fill in the title and the author of the book on my book review journaling card, and then I will move forward to getting some of my final embellishments down, which is going to be this little circle journaling bit. I'm going to cut it in half once I grab it. I'm going to cut the circle in half and place it on the bottom and the right hand cluster to just bring a circle element to that right hand cluster as well. And then once I get that circle element down, after I place the rest of this book stack down, I believe that's going to be it for my entire spread. I would love to know your thoughts on this spread in the comments below. Do you think it looks good as is, or do you think it would have been a little bit better if I had made everything just a touch smaller? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and let's talk about it. That's going to be pretty much all I have for today. Like I said earlier, I will have everything linked down in the description box below if you're interested in checking out this collection. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.